Hello again. So welcome back to the Educational Technology Servicing AI Tools for Pedagogy course. And we are now in our third module on streamlining administrative workflows, the efficiency engine. Now, the problem of administrative friction. Modern teaching is increasingly characterized by administrative overload. Beyond lesson planning and classroom instruction, educators are expected to manage documentation, reporting, email correspondence, compliance form, and meeting outputs. This accumulation of clerical work contributes to cognitive fatigue and emotional exhaustion, often referred to as clerical burnout. Educational technology servicing in this context reframes AI as a virtual administrative assistant, a system designed to absorb repetitive, time-intensive drafting while leaving professional judgment, decision-making, and accountability firmly in human hands. Core principle: AI is used to reclaim instructional time, not replace professional responsibility. AI-assisted professional communication with parents, guardians, and stakeholders requires a careful balance of clarity, empathy, and accountability. Under stress, even well-intentioned teachers may unintentionally produce messages that appear defensive, more formal, or operationally distant. So let's first have the empathetic drafting and retoning. The goal here is to reduce emotional labor, the effort required to suppress your own feelings like frustration or stress to maintain a professional face. So for the first one is the servicing workflow. Instead of staring at a blank screen trying to find the perfect way to say something difficult, follow this three-step process. The first one is the raw input. Bullet points, you provide the facts and your raw intent. Don't worry about being polite here. Get the information out. Second is the AI draft. The AI applies a professional filter, adding necessary greetings, empathetic transition, and constructive closing. The third one is the human final touch. You review the draft to ensure the facts are correct, example, the date of the meeting, and add a personal detail that only you would know. So, for example, here in the real world application, the situation is like this. A student Mark has been constantly talking this class, and you are frustrated because it's disrupting your lesson. So, your raw input: Mark won't stop talking. I've warned him 3 times a day. He didn't submit his assignment again. Tell his parent we need a meeting on Friday at 3 p.m. So the AI assisted retone will be like this. Dear Mr. and Mrs. Cruz, I hope you're having a good week. So that's a good approach. I'm reaching out to share some observations regarding month's recent performance. It's vague, like nothing to worry about. So here, while Mark is very social, so as you can see, while Mark while Mark is very social, it does not directly saying that you are actually frustrated because Mark is disrupting your class, being talkative. He has been struggling to stay focused during lesson, which has impacted his work compliance. I'd love to discuss how we can support him together. Are you available for a brief chat this Friday at 3 p.m.? So the statement here that I'd love to discuss how we can support him together, you are being the the letter or the way it it's written, it's very empathetic that you should be together on solving this kind of problem. So next is the multilingual and culturally responsive communication. In many Philippine communities, a teacher may be communicating with a guardian who is more comfortable in Filipino, Bisaya, or Ilocano than English. AI allow us to bridge this gap through transcreation. So the first one here is the preservation of relational trust. In Filipino culture, communication is deeply rooted in pakikipagkapwa-tao, relating to others as equals, and paggalang, respect. A literal translation often fails here because it can sound too direct or cold. Translation, literal. Your son must study harder. Ang inyong anak ay dapat mag-aral ng mabuti. Sounds like a command or reprimand. So transcreation or the more empathetic way, nais ko pong makipagtulungan sa inyo upang mas mapabuti pa ang pag-aaral ng inyong anak. So you are, the way it's put into the sentence is like let's work together. Okay, invites collaboration and shows respect. Comparatively to the literal path that you're saying that your son study harder, we need to like the command, yeah, the reprimanding. So this is the professional boundary. While AI is excellent at language, it is not a member of your community. You must remain the final arbiter of cultural nuances. So like in the previous module, always we are always reminding that um whatever the output of or the responses of the AI to a certain prompt, we are still be the one who will ensure its validity and you know and the totality of its responses. Because once we out that responses to the parents and the students, we can never get it back. So we always make sure to review before releasing it. So next is the professional rule. For sensitive issues such as disciplinary action or mental health concern, the AI should only provide a starting draft. The final version must be carefully vetted by you to ensure it adheres to school policies and local sensitivities. Using AI communities does not make you lazy teacher. On the contrary, it allows you to be a highly human touch educator by saving your emotional energy in the drafting phase. You have more patience and presence when you actually meet the parents. So the part of writing it to formally write the concern to the parents will not be anymore a burden to the teacher, but you will be reserving that energy when you are meeting the parents in the real sense. Okay, so more energy to talk with the parents on how they're going to solve the problem in regards to their learner, to their student, to their child. AI assisted in lesson planning. So using AI in lesson planning is not just about speed. It is about using the AI to handle the cognitive load of structuring, differentiating, and brainstorming, allowing you to focus on delivery and student connection. So sometimes lesson plan is actually like just a plan, right? So it can be it can be modified during your lesson. So, with the AI assisted in doing the lesson plan, we are now being remove some clerical tasks to do the lesson planning because we have the AI to do that for us. So the first one here is a core workflow. The building block approach. Avoid generic prompts like write a lesson on topic. Instead, use a structured prompt architecture to ensure pedagogical fitness. First, you may write the objective, base the specific from the competencies. Second, framework it. Use the what model. If you are math, it's either 4 A's or 5E. If it's science, 7Es, or if there are other framework applicable to the subject, just specifically state it in the prompt. The constraint, define your time limit, class size, and available material so that um, the AI will follow the SMART approach. The context, as the localized Philippine example, like Sari-Sari Store, local legends, or Philippine history. As it was mandated by us by the Republic Act 10533, we need to contextualize our lesson plan. So in addition, AI-assisted lesson planning. Number two, advanced planning techniques. Once you have a basic draft, use these pro techniques to refine the lesson for a real-world Philippine classroom. The misconception predictor. Ask the AI to identify where student will likely fail before you even start. Example, what is a common misconception grade 7 students have about mass versus weight? Add a checking for understanding question to my plan to catch this error. Letter B, recursive differentiation or layering. Don't write three plans. Layer one plan for three groups. The prompt. Create three versions of application tasks. One for student needing extra support, one for the general class, and one challenging task for advanced learners. So like you are providing diverse learning instruction or differentiated instruction. So the AI will really help us to do this. It's very it's very laborious in our part to think differentiated instruction to the different types of learners that we have. So, but with the AI, it will become more easier, or it will become easier because you just need to input into the prompt. Then the AI will provide you the the activity or the instruction needed for this type of learners. The resource constrained brainstorm force the AI to be practical for a specific school environment. The prompt may be rewrite the activity section. I have no electricity or internet in the classroom. Suggest an activity using only paper and locally available stones or leaves. So the AI here is can provide you different options based on the available materials or resources in your school. So you just need to use the AI correctly. The questioning ladder or inquiry base move from lecturing to guiding. The prompt maybe provide a list of 5 questions that guide students to discover the concept of buoyancy on their own, starting from basic observation to complex synthesis. The inquiry-based approach is actually also in our RA 10533, so it's required for us to use this approach. Okay, for the third one is evaluating your AI draft, the human edit. So again, reminding when we are using AI, we must always audit it, review it to ensure its credibility. Before finalizing, apply the pedagogical fitness check. We have five, I think, if I'm not mistaken, five before you produce that. Remember, AI is your co-writer, but you are the director. For the feature, time, culture, logic, AI suggestion, 20 minute. Example, buying a coffee Starbucks, the sun goes around. There, teacher's profession audit. My class of 50 takes 10 minutes just a group. I'll make this 30 minutes. Audit. For the second one, not relatable here. I'll change it to buying a merienda at the street stall. So for the logic, AI hallucination, I must correct the scientific fact immediately. So if the AI provided you um some information that's not true, so you need to audit. The fourth one is comparison. Traditional versus AI enhanced planning. So in traditional planning, starting from a blank page, high stress. Like how I'm going to start my discussion or how I'm going to start my lesson. Second is rely on single safe teaching method. So sometimes we are we tend to use what we are comfortable to. We are sometimes diminish the fact to explore other teaching methods. Differentiation is often skipped due to time. Like what I'm saying a while ago, though we have diverse learners, as much we would like to provide differentiated instruction, not sometimes, most of the time, we often skip it because of time. Not just time, but it's very, very tiring to think differentiated instruction. The output, a standard lesson. But with the help of AI or AI enhanced planning, starting with a 70% complete draft. So you are seeing there the draft, you just need to review it, check, just a director can explore 5 different creative hooks instantly. So you can provide more, not just one. For the third one, differentiation is built in with a single prompt. So you just need to include it in your prompt. So the output here is a strategic, scaffolded experience. Um, Compliance, boundary, and data protection. As a teacher, you are the custodian of student information. Maintaining pedagogical fitness also means maintaining data safely. The golden rule of prompting, anonymization. The most critical boundary in AI use in ensuring that personally identified information or PII never leaves your local device. Once data is entered into a public AI model, it can be used for training, meaning it's no longer under your exclusive control. What to remove before prompting? Full names of students or parents, student ID numbers, specific home address or contact numbers, sensitive medical or disciplinary records. The safe input technique. Instead of saying draft a letter to Mrs. Santos about her son, Jose, who failed a graded math exam at Legazpi National High School, use draft a letter to a parent regarding their grade 10 student who did not pass in a recent math assessment. As you can see, between the two statements there, the first one is it's like an open book. You are giving everything to the AI model. Like we are not sure if it's a public AI model, so the data is already there. We cannot retrieve it. So we should be more vigilant on how we're going to or what are going to input in our AI prompts. So just be make it vague in a sense that there is no specific information being included in the prompt. So just make it like this, like drop a letter to a parent, not saying who is that parent, regarding to a graded student, who is that student. Okay, so there's no school being provided. Okay, just a math assessment test. Because in here, as you can see there, we cannot actually retrieve what we already provided to the public AI model. So next is alignment with the Data Privacy Act of 2012 in the Philippines. Under the Philippine law, students are data subjects with specific rights. Your use of AI must respect this principle. Transparency, legitimate purpose, proportionality. For transparency, if you use AI to grade or analyze student work, be transparent with your school head and where appropriate parents. Legitimate purpose, use AI for professional function like lesson planning or drafting feedback and not for personal tracking or surveillance. Proportionality, only provide the AI with the minimum amount of information it needs to perform the task. It doesn't mean to provide all of the necessary information, especially those very critical information that's not necessary to be included in the prompts when we are using AI platforms. Next is the human in the loop for administrative work. As we wrap up your study of AI in the teaching profession, we must address the ultimate relationship between the machine and the educator. While AI can handle the drudgery of paperwork, it cannot replace the accountability of a licensed professional. It's still your it's in your control before you publish anything that is provided by the AI. It is in your control to filter and to make review about it. Once you out that information, you cannot retrieve it. And once there's a something unethical use of AI, it's very it will be problematic in your part. In the administrative context, we use the 80-20 rule to define this partnership. The 80-20 rule of administrative AI, this rule ensures that while the AI does the heavy lifting, the teachers remain the captain of the ship. Again, we are still the captain of the ship. The 80% machine efficiency, the AI is your drafting assistant. Like you have your teaching assistant. It handles the time-consuming repetitive tasks that often lead to teachers' burnout. The teacher, us, we're just going to deliver the lesson. Okay? Drafting, creating the first version of letters, report, or newsletter, formatting, organizing messy notes into clean tables, bullet point or formal structure, summarizing, condensing long meeting minutes for depth and memos into top 5 action items, organizing, turning a list of student scores into a brief narrative summary of class performance. The 20% human judgment. This is the most critical part of the process. That this 20% of our time is where our professional license and pedagogical heart reside. Verification, fact-checking every date, name, and mathematical calculation. Personalization, adding the specific nuances that only you know about your school, your community, and your students. Ethical review, ensuring the content is fair, unbiased, and follow the Data Privacy Act. Final approval, signing your name to the document once you hit send or print the output is your, not the AI's. Accountability, the line AI cannot cross. In a Philippine school setting, accountability is both legal and relational. If an AI generates a report that contains a mistake or a biased statement, the school head parents will look to you, not the software. You cannot say it's at the end of the day, it's the software, it's the chat GPT that produces that context. And you will be questioned why at the first place you use it. Okay? But yes, again, we are allowed to use it, but we should be vigilant on using it. Okay, we should be professional. Okay, because again, um, this 20% the human judgment is the professional license and pedagogical heart reside. Okay, the professional standard AI can produce the work, but it cannot take the responsibility. Okay, again, it cannot take the responsibility. You are the human in the loop who ensures that technology serves the students rather than the other way around. So for your task on this module, you have time back audit tasks. Identify the 3 weekly administrative tasks that consume the most time. Use the RCTF framework prompt to generate the first draft for one task. Track time spent before and after a assistance. Okay, so this ends the module 3. We'll see you on your module 4. Okay, goodbye again.